So Google VEO 3.1 now lets you upload 3 reference images, so you can now create any character in any location holding any object.
You can also use first and last frame, which has now been integrated into Google VEO 3.1, so you can create epic transition videos like this. This is going to be a fascinating one, so strap in. Hello and welcome to today's video by GenHQ. My name's Rourke Heath, and today we're going to be looking at the new Google VEO 3.1 video model. With this new model, we've got a few new exciting features to cover. One is the ingredients feature that allows you to upload 3 reference images, and you can combine those elements together into a single video. Next up, we've also got the first and last frame feature, which has now been added to the new Google VEO 3.1 model. This means we can now start with a start frame and end with an end frame, and the AI will connect the dots in between those 2 frames. Now, there are competing products like Kling 2.1 first and last frame, for example, that allow you to actually connect those dots between a first and a last frame very successfully. But the new advantage of using Google VEO 3.1 is that we now have audio and sound design on that first and last frame. So let's get started. First things first, we can access the new model on Higgsfield. The main reason why I'm suggesting Higgsfield for this situation is because obviously we have unlimited generations for the first week of release. This means we can play around with it as much as we want, and we have unlimited credits. It's only available under some of their subscriptions, but make sure you check it out, and you also get unlimited image generation as well. So I'm going to show you, if we go to the video section at the top of the page on Higgsfield, we can now have access to Google VEO 3.1. So in here, you'll see on the left-hand side, they have both of these features enabled in their platform. So we have the frames where we can upload a start frame and an end frame, or just a first frame if you want to go from image to video, for example. Secondly, they've also got ingredients where you can see here, it says you can upload up to 3 reference photos, which you can combine together to create a single video. Now, what's really interesting too is that they also have this multi-shot mode feature. Now, I haven't seen any other platform integrate this yet, and I'm very happy that Higgsfield have, because you'll see here it says it splits your prompt into scenes and adds camera cuts. So with this enabled, it will actually, if I was to write in a scene of like a man who is working on cleaning an engine inside of a car, the camera cuts to a close-up of him wiping the sweat off of his brow. He then says, "Damn, this is a hard day's work." Okay, so let's say we wanted to generate that, right? So I'm going to copy this prompt, and we can use a reference photo, and I have like a couple here, for example, where I used Seedream to actually generate these images. I love using Seedream as an image model, primarily because of just how good it is at actually creating 4K imagery. So I love the fact that we get those high crisp, high resolution images. Usually my recommendation to people, so we can hit generate on this right now. Usually my recommendation to people, if you're trying to elevate your workflow to get the most out of Google VEO, in the past, when you were to upload an image into Google VEO 3, it would actually give you an output that looked really AI generated because it often smoothed out the skin, and it would also adjust the coloring in your scene. With this, if you can actually upload a really crisp, high quality image, either one that is upscaled or just one that has a lot of details for the video model to attach to, then you're going to get a much better output. So if you're generating imagery, for example, with a separate image model, maybe it's Google Nano Banana, for example, then the output of your image is going to be a really low resolution. It's going to be 1000 by 1000 megapixels roughly. And what we want to try and reduce is uploading low quality imagery to Google VEO 3 because it's only going to give you poor outputs. So for example, I could also download this image here as well. We can go back in here and it looks like it's giving me an error. So in order to fix this, I'm just going to remove the word damn from our prompt here, and let's see if it fixes it. Let's try it with this new image that we've got and we can upload that in here. Sometimes it's getting a little bit like funny when it comes to swearing. So we've noticed that we try to generate, like, have these characters say some swear words in the past too, and a lot of the time the generations actually end up getting blocked. So maybe it would just be that word that's kind of causing us a bit of grief in this example. This video is now in progress, so clearly removing the word damn was the issue with our original prompt. Now, because I have this multi-shot feature enabled, you'll see here it's actually adjusted my prompt and it's rewritten it in a much more custom and bespoke way. So let's open this up in a Google Doc and we'll actually see exactly what they have adjusted our prompts to. So an 8-second cinematic video with seamless cuts and steady camera work. 0 to 2 seconds, medium shot on a man leaning over the hood of the Land Rover. X, Y, and Z kind of providing details. 2 to 3 seconds, quick cut to a close-up of his face. 3 to 5 seconds, slow zoom on his face. 5 to 7 seconds, medium shot, pulls back out. 7 to 8 seconds, final shot lingers on the Land Rover badge on the engine cover. So in here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots inside of an 8-second sequence. Now, I have no idea how it's going to handle this, but let's have a look.
This is a hard day's work.
Wow. Jesus Christ. Okay. That is impressive. So really, it actually ended up doing 1, 2, 3 videos in the sequence. So that was really impressive. Overall, the prompt coherence was pretty accurate. I think I was expecting a couple more, separate shots. If these were broken down into all of their constituents, I would have thought it would have given us a couple more. Now, let's also investigate the ingredients feature, because this is a massive upgrade for us as storytellers. We can use this with consistent, we can design our own locations, we can then design our character and what they're wearing, and then we can also upload an image of a product, and we can have 3 separate images to combine that together. So, for example, let's design a character that isn't me, and let's come up with that together. So under image, I'm going to use, let's just try Higgsfield Soul. Let's try their own image model. So their head is a television screen, and they're wearing abstract clothing on a white background. So some of these generations are already coming in here, and I actually really like this one from Seedream. This character looks really cool, details are really crisp. He's kind of got this like abstract kind of feel to him. He's almost like a cartoon mixed with it's like a hybrid between cartoon and realism. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Seedream here, and I'm going to upload an image of this character. And I'm then going to say, generate me a full body shot of this character on a white background. And now we can see also some of these other image generations are coming through. Love this top this guy's wearing. Very cool. But we're now going to generate a full body shot of this character here, because I want to make sure that we can unlock a full consistency of our character. I'm going to teach you a few tips and tricks that you can use in order to unlock character consistency as well with this new model. So bear with me, and I'm going to show you an expert level tip as well. So now we have this image here, which represents the full body of this character. Now, this is just a rough representation. If I was doing this for a specific job, for example, if I was doing client work, then I would probably go into much more detail on the character, but just for the sake of an example here to educate you. With this full image of the character, we can go back into video model here, and I'm actually going to show you this in Kling 2.5. So we're going to now upload this reference photo of the character that we have just made. Now I'm going to say the character spins on a full 360, so we see all angles of the character. He moves around in a full rotation. Okay, and we can use a 10-second generation for this. And what this does is it allows us to generate a video of our character, who is then going to spin in a circle like this. And that allows us to pause the video and take screenshots of any part of this video that we can then use as a reference photo when we are then, trying to generate a side profile of this character or a back shot, for example, of this character. We will be able to have a full 360-degree angle of this character right here by doing this method. So this is a very, very clever way that you can, use to unlock character consistency too. Amazing. So this video has just loaded in. So take a look at this. So now we have this character spinning on a full 360 rotation angle. I can pause this at any time and use any of these screenshots to literally have a full 360 render of this character, right? Which is just perfect. So that's amazing. We can download that for now. Now, with this, we can also go back to Google VEO 3.1 here. And now let's go to the ingredients feature. So I'm going to upload this image of our character here as, let's just say our consistent character. Next up, I want to generate a maybe like an image, which is going to be our location. So let's say I want to generate inside of a car. So I want to have this character driving a car and I want it to be like a cinematic nighttime shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say an image of a car and the camera is positioned outside of the front of the windshield and it's looking into the car so that we can see the passenger seat and the driver's seat, and there is nobody driving the car, so the car is empty, and it is nighttime in this example, and we can just about see inside the car. Okay. I am going to generate this with a couple of different image models again, just so that we can get a few different examples of what we could be working with. And again, we'll pick the best one for our reference image too. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, so Nano Banana has done a pretty bang up job. This is pretty solid. This one's also pretty solid. I actually quite like both of these. So I'm going to download both for now. So give them both a download. Now we can go back to our video model here. So inside of Higgsfield, go back to Google VEO 3.1 and we can upload this location as you can see here. It doesn't matter about the aspect ratio of your image, by the way. Now I can upload maybe like an iPhone, for example, because I want this character to be on the phone while he's driving. So I want him to have like one hand like this, so he's like holding the wheel, and I want one hand for this character to be on the phone. So let's just go and find iPhone. The new one is the 17 Pro, I think. To be honest, I've personally lost track at this point. Let's do a white one, just because I feel like that's going to provide a bit of contrast for us. Right, this one will do. It's not even the right way up, but I'm going to download that and then we can upload that back as our last ingredient here. So with these three images together, I can now go ahead and start prompting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, the character who has the TV as the head is sat inside the car and he is driving the car. He has one hand on the wheel and he's holding an iPhone up to his ear and he is talking. And as he is talking, the light on the TV monitor flickers to visually represent each time he's talking. And he's in a heated debate with his girlfriend on the phone. And in the background, we can hear his girlfriend talking on the phone, and then he's replying to his girlfriend and he's getting frustrated. Hopefully this does a good job. We can also go in here and we can adjust this to be 1080p as well for the quality. Now I do have to mention, I'm going to generate one in 1080p as well, just so that you can see. Usually when you adjust this to 1080p, what it's doing is it's just upscaling it inside of the Google VEO 3.1 model. Now when you do upscale from 720p up to 1080p, it can actually negatively impact the performance of the video. Now, why is this? It's because when you upscale videos like that, sometimes it washes out a lot of the detail in your video. So if you have images of humans or videos of humans that you're trying to generate, it will actually wash out a lot of the skin detail and it'll give you that plasticky look, which is not what we want. We do not want to be generating videos that look AI. Maybe that's the look that you're going for, but in this example, I'm trying to create like more cinematic style kind of content. And we can also see here, because I have the multi-shot enabled, we are able to, it's going to take our prompt and it's going to use a prompt enhancer on the back end to actually give us this really nice prompt structure. So you don't even need to use like a custom GPT or a custom large language model or anything like that to actually create good prompts. You can just simply write in whatever you want, and then on the back end, it will handle all of that for you, which is, very helpful to have, but also sometimes it can like do add in things that you don't want to be there. So if that is the case, you can always turn this off, and you can prompt in your own things yourself, for example, where you can say like the camera cuts to a side profile of the character talking on the phone, and it will generate that cut maybe halfway through the video for you. So that's another way that you can do this without actually needing to enable the multi-shot mode, but it is nice to have that there as a feature if you wanted to use it. So these generations have loaded in and you can see them on the side here. Now, I'm not going to lie, for whatever reason, Google VEO 3.1 refused to generate someone who was on the phone and behind the driver's wheel. Obviously, they are much more responsible than most of us are. Now, the last thing that I want to come on to is the first and last frame feature. And I'm going to show you how you can use this in a marketing sense to help actually showcase your product in certain scenes. So let's dive in. So to get started, let's actually create our imagery. So for this, we can simply pick a product, for example, and let's choose an image model. So for this, I'm going to choose Nano Banana because I believe that when you're uploading images of specific products, which might have text on it, for example, using Nano Banana is probably your best model. So for this, I always like to use this as an example, but I like to use Kellogg's cereal box. So we can use this image here. We've got the image resolution down here. It's big enough for me. So let's download this one. Now we can go back into Higgsfield and we can upload this as a reference image. So this could be whatever product that you wanted to showcase, for example. On a black hue background with slight tint of orange, I would like you to add this product floating in space in and give it a 3D depth environment. Let's adjust the aspect ratio of this to be portrait, as though we're creating something for social media, for example. Then we can simply hit generate. So let's generate a bunch of different examples of this. So we're generating 8 images. So here are our generations. We have this version here, and we also have this version here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download both of these, and I'm going to show you how we can use first and last frame to create a really cool transition. So if we go back into Google VEO 3.1 now, we can go to the frames option, and we can upload this as our first frame. So maybe this shot here. And then for our end frame, we can upload this shot right here. So what we're going to do is just upload them in there, and we can write in a prompt saying the cereal is floating in the air and the camera slowly moves around the box. The box slants ever so slightly as it's floating in the air, and orange particles start to circle around the box, showcasing a cool product transition shot. So with that, we can add that in like so. Make sure you have enhance off and also multi-shot off, otherwise it will change your prompt. And then you can simply hit generate. Another tip that you can also do is you could upload both of these images into a large language model of your choice. And you can also say, write me a simple first and last frame transition shot between the close-up image of the cereal box to the last frame, which has the orange particles swirling around it. In between these two frames, I would like to have the product floating in the air, and I would like these orange particles to circle around the box, creating a very cool transition. Can you write me a prompt that's optimized for Google VEO 3.1? Then with that, we can simply paste that into our large language model of choice. You could use Google Gemini, you could use Claude, you could use ChatGPT, whichever one you have a subscription to. Then in response, you will get your prompt, and it's giving me a custom prompt here. So let's copy that, and we could paste that into here as well. So here is one of the examples that we've generated. Take a look at this. So we've got the product rotating, and then it adds in this cool transition effect as well. Now, this is a very, very basic one that that I've just generated in no time at all. Given some actual thought and putting some effort behind it, you can really use this to come up with some incredible, incredible content that you can use to help grab the viewer's attention, which is what marketing is all about. I also just want to summarize a couple of other key points that we've learned from Google VEO 3.1. Overall, the general prompt coherence with this new model is significantly better than the Google VEO 3 output. Another thing which has been improved is voices. A lot of the time when you used Google VEO 3, you would actually get these really tinny voice outputs, but now it's been significantly improved with this new model as well. And again, I will leave a link to Higgsfield in the description if you wanted to go and use this as a platform to actually have unlimited generations and play as much as you want with the tool, then I'll leave a link to that down below. If you're interested in taking creative Gen AI seriously and turning this into a professional career, then you can come and join us over at Gen HQ.